For today's preview, we have two great and grotesque indie games that you should check out, with the FPS Coven and the turn-based destruction of Tarnished Blood. Coven takes us back to the witch trials, when we are burned at the stake after being accused of being a witch. It turns out, well, devil favors us, and we are brought back to life to take revenge on the priest and discover there's something far more insidious going on. The game itself, while it may look and somewhat play as a boomer shooter that we all know and love at this point, Coven does do several things very differently in terms of feel and general play. For starters, instead of getting health pickups, while there are a few healing items, you've been brought back as, well, a cannibal. And all the enemies, after they are killed, become your healthy snacks to bring back your life. And this can also be used for spell casting that I'll come back to in a second. Every enemy has full locational based damage. You can shoot an enemy in the leg to stagger them and then go for a headshot, try to pop those heads as early as you can for quick kills, or make use of your different armaments and the environment and try and deal with enemies thusly. The spell casting requires you to use mana, and you'll be able to gain spells that will have different properties in the world. Your starting kind of armor destroyer can melt armor that is used by some of the heavier enemies. You can also flame broil enemies to make them even tastier and give you more health, and get access to other abilities as well. The game has definitely seen a glow up in terms of the lighting and environmental design from when we played the demo, with the environment certainly popping and the levels going for very kind of wide, not so much open-ended, but definitely large spaces to explore, shoot, and consume to, along with finding many secrets, alternate areas, and even upgrades to several of your weapons. The enemies themselves all follow kind of basic patterns, and you'll have to kind of figure out again the best way to kill each type of enemy, and making sure you have the resources to do so. Now, with that said, with this being a preview, I did run into a few issues. As we got further into the episode, or episode 1, the levels become far larger. And since you only save at kind of the in-level save points, there's no kind of menu quick save, quick load, it did feel a little punishing in spots. Enemies are very brittle, but so are you. And since consuming them is your main form of getting health back, it means that it's very easy to run out of healing if you're not careful. Now, with the overall difficulty, I did have a few spots that felt a little hard. You do feel a little bit ammo limited as you get later into the episode, and you are supposed to be making use of your spell casting. As a UX nitpick, I would have liked a hotkeyer way to swap spells while in game without having to go to the radio menu for it, as you will be having to make use of your spells quite a bit, and just being able to swap between them like that would, I think, speed up the pacing quite a bit. With everything said, however, Coven is definitely looking fantastic. It's also looking a little bit muddy in spots. Due to how the lighting works, it can be a little hard to spot enemies. There are cases where, even with your kind of ghost lantern, I could barely see more than 3 feet in front of me, and if you get close to a wall, the bloom effect can easily blind you like a flashbang. And I do hope for maybe like a little bit more improvement in terms of visibility for enemies, as they can also blend into the environment quite a bit, especially at mid to long range. But that doesn't stop them from eagerly sniping you from that distance. Still, Coven shows a lot of promise, and I like how it just feels legitimately different from the other boomer shooters that we've played. So if you're looking for a shooter to snack on, as well as shoot, then definitely give this one a try, and I'm certainly going to be looking forward to playing this game when it hits 1.0 at some point in the future. We go to a different kind of violence with Tarnished Blood. This is a kind of timeline-based, I guess, like Monster Hunter. You are in a strange world with evil creatures all trying to kill you, and you must do your best to hunt them down, gather their parts, and grow in power. The entire game lives or dies based on the timeline that's at the bottom of the screen. As you add commands to it, it will update in real time to let you know what are the consequences of it. This can include getting hit by the enemy, dodging an attack, or some other more disturbing things happening. In order to actually kill the enemy, you must destroy the different body parts on it. Each body part will have an associated heart to it, and when you destroy enough hearts, the enemy goes down and you win. Now, the challenge is that every weapon type in the game has its own rules and behavior. The sword is the most basic. You hit the enemy with it, and you'll build up kind of like a charge that you can use to unleash a shockwave attack. Bows have a sweet spot that if you can do your attack in that sweet spot range, you'll score a critical hit. And you only need to make use of all the different weapon types and more if you want to have any chance of success. As you play through, the different parts and other things you gather from the enemies will enable you to craft new weapons and new armor. Armor comes with set bonuses, and weapons can come with also different modifiers based on the quality of them. There is that kind of metagame progression, similar to that of Darkest Dungeon, where characters can suffer long-term or permanent injuries. Your town slash kind of crafting area can be upgraded to provide new functionality. And of course, the game gets more and more dangerous as it goes along. This is one of those games that you will either love or hate, and I don't think there's anything in between quite for it. This is a slow game. This is something that each battle can easily take 10 to 20 minutes of you timeline manipulating, moving action, moving them back, moving forward, and trying to again get that perfect turn each time. Because the long-term penalties in this game if characters suffer injuries can be very extensive. This is another game that's going to live or die based on its boss designs. And the one that I played during the demo was fairly interesting. There are plenty more to come. I enjoyed this one. Again, it definitely hits like a very different tone and feel compared to some of the other games that we've played. And if you're looking for a game that really, again, rewards proper planning and management, definitely check this one out. If I had an issue besides the slower pace, is that the kind of metagame and kind of upgrade systems do feel a little bit like awkward at the moment. It's still a little tricky to know exactly why should I go for this weapon? Why should I get this piece of armor and things along those lines? So there is definitely a lot of potential here for Tarnished Blood, and I would certainly recommend this one if you're looking for a more challenging, I guess slower take on the Monster Hunter formula. And once again, Tarnished Blood is in early access, and what you see may not represent the current version of it. Thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think about these games down below. Let me tickle your game for a future video and showcase. Please reach out. And with everything said, have a great night and see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff. Be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.